All right. And Tim is balancing. He's balancing because he's drunk now. He's he never drinks. When he comes up for shower time, we're gonna have a couple. I'm gonna try to get him drunk. But he's balancing because that is the topic du jour. And the du jour, I forget what date is releasing, whatever du jour it is for you. Happy du jour day. But yeah, we're talking about balance today for DMs and adventures and campaigns, and actually the rule set. Right? Where does the balance come in? All right. Who is in charge of balancing things? And this goes to a bigger thing that we were talking about doing here is a bit of a course on adventure writing, and this is like one aspect of how to write a good adventure. So it's kind of a, 101 course, adventure writing, all about balance and who's responsible and what aspects. So take it away, Paul.
Well, I was going to ask I think the first question is, what is the goal of balancing? Why are we trying to balance the game? So the question, I would pose that to the panel here. What do you think the goal is? Why are people trying to balance the game in the first place?
And to the people in the audience, type a comment. What do you think?
Later, yeah.
Leave a comment there.
Right.
Tim, what do you think? What's the point of balance? Is there a point of balance?
Now, I mean, there's probably several points to that. One is to feel like the players have a chance, so they're not overpowered. Two, it gives a guideline to the GM. Say you're a new adventure writer, and the players are 5th level. It's very easy to kind of match up. It's like, if I get a what do they call it? CR level
CR
5
CR rating.
Yeah, I can, because they have a formula in 5th edition about like how it goes. And that's going to help people kind of figure out their encounters and what they kind of want to put in there. And for like an old school DM, it's exactly what you want to ignore.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I'm not doing it to be snarky, but it's a little bit of the contrast of the two, because I mean, you want to do it, and it also depends on your audience. I mean, there's always a caveat with this thing. If I'm running with you guys, they're not going to be balanced. But say I'm running an adventure for maybe like Paul was doing, like a young bunch of kids, I'm probably going to try to balance it a little bit better. So it's a tough fight, but it's not going to be a complete massacre if they start rolling bad, kind of thing. Because I want them to be able to enjoy it and whatnot. But game balance is a tool, and it's good to use in the beginning, but eventually you take those training wheels off.
Well, I mean, you talk about the old school, Tim. I pulled out, of course, the old school monster manual here.
Love it.
Good
I love that
thing. And I just randomly looked at Knoll. Okay, number of Knolls appearing in an encounter between 20 and 200. Okay, how is that balanced? If you're going to roll the dice to see you're an encounter, I random encounter table Knoll show. Let's see how many.
20 10.
172 Knolls have appeared in front of you. What will you do?
Well, that's for the outside. That's not for a dungeon or anything like that.
So there you go, right? I mean, that's your sense of old school balance, though, right? And
right.
So
I mean, there was none. I mean, I guess I would argue that, because if you go back through the old TSR modules, they do have a balance set throughout, but they also have things, a lot of in the old school stuff. There's absolutely no balance in it, because you got a lot of save and dies.
Yes.
So if you have a save and die, then you don't give a shit about, balance, because getting bit by a centipede, which is I think a 1-hit dice monster in our 1st edition, can wipe you out if you
you could be 10th level. You could have beaten dragons. You could have taken on witches. You could have had your own castle with a 1,000-man army. You could be the god of the world. Your max hit points, I got 100 hit points, and a fucking spider bites you and you die.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that's it. You failed your saving throw. You're dead. And so that's the difference between old school balance and new school balance, right? So everything is dangerous. And Tim is taking that to heart with the Colmore Forest. So that's just how we roll, right?
Yes.
Well, I'll give you an example too. You bring up the point, Tim's really good point too. If you look at balance, I mean, the early what we call funhouse dungeons, where you could go in any room, and we don't know why those monsters are there. Right. We don't know why. We don't know why an owlbear's in this room, and a slime is in this room, and gelatinous cube is over here. We don't know. They're just hanging out in this place.
What's the ecology? How do they eat? Where's the food supply? Where's the water supply?
We don't know.
But
You're going to break open a door, and there is a monster, because that is what the module says.
There's a 30-foot dragon in a 10 by 10 room. Go figure.
Right.
You know,
versus there's dungeon unbalanced, right? That just the way they wrote it. That's what you find. And then you have the hex crawl bounce, where you would find the 20 to 200 gnolls, maybe, because it's an encampment. It's they're marching to war somewhere. Those type of things. So I think when you're thinking about balance, right, what everybody, there's a big difference in balancing if you're going to try to balance a dungeon versus balancing a hex crawl. I had a kid one time, we were doing a hex crawl, and he went to a location. Well, that particular location was the home of the chimera that I had warned them about. He just happened to choose the chimera's lair. And he's looking at me like, why did you put this here? Why did you put such a powerful monster? And we're just like 3rd level or something, where he's complaining about it. It's not my fault you chose that. Yeah. That's where he lives.
That's where he lives.
I can't help that. That's right. And so if I'm gonna balance it, I'm taking that chimera out, and I'm putting in something 3rd level appropriate, or something that they're gonna, which I think it destroys the whole world. It just destroys it destroys what the I don't know what you want to call it, the ecology, or even the immersion, or the verisimilitude of what you're trying to say this world is. That you're in a world that that is a living world that you're in. It's not my fault you chose to go that way. If your world is active, things are always moving, things are going around, things live places. You don't know what those things are. So in regards to balance, I think you could do this too. I'll just say this, is that, look, DMs balance in one of two ways. They balance early in the numbers, right? They say, well, I'm going to balance, I'm going to add up all the CR scores, I'm going to use all this math. For me, it was just traditional. For me, it's like, look, I'm always going to have whatever's fighting you is going to be a level or 2 above your level. It's just going to be there, because that's the challenge of it, right? Some things are going to be easy. Some things are going to be hard, right?
Yeah.
And so, but the other part is this: DMs who say they don't balance are the people too. There are some DMs who fudge dice rolls, who decrease hit points, who decrease number of things you're going to, right? So there is some balancing going on, whether you're trying to figure out the CR code of math or whether you're doing something else. There's I feel like there's, and that's not everybody obviously, but there are some DMs who do it either way or both ways, that they're in a desperate place to balance it out for their players for whatever reason.
I think the theme, though, what you're hitting on, Paul, is that it's not the adventure that balances it, and it's not the game system that balances it. It's the DM's job to balance it in whatever way the DM thinks the balance should go. Sometimes some DMs don't think it should be balanced at all. Some DMs think it should be balanced within a certain range. But whose job is it to balance? The rule set, the module or adventure, or the DM?
Right. And don't be right. There are DMs who are a little jerky about it, maybe, and will purposely unleash 10 giants upon upon a 3rd level. Like it's the equivalent of, well, that's what my character would do. This is what the DM would do.
You're right. You're right. The role said so. Therefore,
that's what I'm using. Sorry, guys. And those are guys that are DMs that are like TPK fluent. Like they get a rush that they just killed the whole party because they unleashed that on them. Right.
I love that TPK fluent. That's a good. Yeah.
I would argue with you on that point a little bit on that one though, Paul.
Okay.
Just think an example. When you guys were going through the Cormo Forest that one time and you hit that horde of undead, you guys had absolutely no chance against that. I wasn't being a jerk. And it was something that was a random encounter that I knew was going to kind of be, it was one of those, Joe understands, my planned random encounter type of thing. And it was going to go through there. But you guys didn't have to interact with it if you didn't want to. You guys climbed a tree, poor Eleanor just kind of got caught up with some circumstances and stuff like that.
Crushed.
So
but
the way, let me finish with my point real quick. So what I did is I allow, and I think this is very important in adventure writing. So if you're going to write an adventure, don't let like the character's level determine the situation. Let the challenge level, let the situation determine the challenge level. Because it's okay to write even a little bit low. Like say I write an adventure for bandits and everything like that. They might be lower level or not as good as competent as the players, but that's the situation. But I might have, but the thing is the one thing you can't be is boring. You can have a little, and it's okay to allow the players to be badasses. They can go up there and start punking these bandits, or like, hey, well, you're either going to work for me now for a little bit, or kind of thing. But it's also to kind of have like one badass bandit who says, "No, not today, boys," and then he kind of starts tossing a fireball or something up in the air. So when that encounter happened, I knew if you guys tried to, screwed up your rolls, there was a pretty good chance there was going to do a TPK. But those kind of encounters, though, those really overpowered ones, if they're played right, they can give you the feeling of terror and awe within a campaign. It helps shape that world. You're, we have to go through the 10 giant clan, across this thing, and we got to go through there. If we get caught by these guys, we're going to die. But what we need to get to is on the other side. But having that fear, I mean, that's what I love about gaming, having that, the feeling of dread that shit, I got to do something I really, really don't want to do to get that.
Right. But you didn't, But in this point too, that encounter wasn't willy nilly. That encounter was what was happening. That was the world being the world. You weren't predetermining that. No. I'm not unleashing this upon the group because I think it's going to kill them all. Right. That's that was just us encountering your world. Now I died. That wasn't a TPK though. Other people survived.
It was just a horrible.
I did not.
It was Eleanor. Eleanor
got stomped to death below by 1,000 skeletons,
and I got carried away, never to be seen again.
Crowd surfed. The
hell. Yeah, which was right. I was crowd surfing the zombies. I'm being taken away, and that was okay. Great. But my point was the fact that there are DMs who don't plan that way, who say, oh well, there's 50 giants. Sorry guys, that's just the way it goes. But see, I think there's a big difference between having that part of your world. That's something we were going to encounter, and somebody who just rolls up a bunch of stuff, a DM who rolls up a bunch of stuff and unleashes it without caring about the.
How could he have done that better than Paul? So rolls. How could he have done that better than? So say you still have to get the same results, the party, and maybe. Do you change the situation? What would you do to fix something like that because there's going to be people who are going to encounter this. What could they do to improve that?
What happened? Set the stage, Tim, because I vaguely remember it. I was in a tree. All I was thinking was
no. I'm talking about his 10 his giant encounter that he's talking about.
I thought you meant the skeleton thing. Okay,
right. I think what you're doing there. Not every encounter. The problem is that not every encounter is a battle. Right. If I'm doing this, it doesn't mean giants show up and crush you. It means there's an opportunity of death. And you say the encounter is if there are 10 giants, well, why are there 10 of them together? What are they doing? Are they defending the area? Hear, and I'll say to the players, you can feel right now. I said, you feel the earth shake beneath your feet. So that lets them know immediately, this is an encounter. You don't have to run in there and attack these things. You play it smart, right? Give them the clue, the heads up that there is danger ahead, and say, okay, there are 10 giants, but these 10 giants aren't looking for a fight necessarily. They're out doing whatever giants do in that area. They're patrolling. They're looking for something. They're farming. For all we know, they're living their best giant life.
Right.
They're playing Boulder Bocce. That's
whatever
what they're doing. They're doing,
right,
you know,
they're just
rolling them.
living their life. But the player, from a player's perspective, I think of players, if depending on how you DM, you right, if everything's a battle, then a player is always on their guard. This is, well, I
Yeah,
must fight
right.
these things. I have to attack them, when that's not necessarily true. An encounter does not always mean battle. It means you've encountered them. Well, what are you going to do now? They're out there in your world doing a thing.
Right.
and that comes down to the XP rewards. I mean, I've done multiple videos, one more recently than others, about gold for XP. So I think that's a very important distinction in old school games, is that you get the gold, you don't need to kill the guy to get the gold. Sometimes you get the gold and you get XP for it, and there's probably more XP in the gold by multiple numbers, by, you know, like 7,
Especially
10
in
times more.
OSC. Yeah.
Yeah,
Old school
yeah.
essentials.
So
It's
the
big,
monster's
yeah,
worth
definitely.
10. The monster might be worth, 20 XP, and the gold is 200 gold pieces. That's 200 XP. Why,
Absolutely.
it's 10 times the amount for just getting his shit without having to kill him. Because why subject yourself to a chance of a save or die because of some poison bite from a centipede? We could, distract him and, raid
Right.
their little nest to see what the hell they have in their little nest, right? And so you bait them out, distract them, do whatever you got to do to get without having to kill them. But 5e and started with 4e and a lot of 3rd edition, it's all about combat, right? And so
It is.
everything is combat optimized because of the MMO games, because you can't reward, in a certain way. Everybody's used to killing, and optimization of your characters so they are better killers, right? And so if you're optimizing for killing, then you're going to want to do which you have optimized yourself for, right? Because what the hell is the sense of the game otherwise, right? And so it's the same thing. And again, it's another mindset that goes back EverQuest, right? Zones. You move from this zone to newbie
Oh, that's
zone.
right. Yeah, yeah.
This zone's a 10 to 20 level zone. This one's a 40th. Oh my God, on a 3rd level, and I wandered into a 40th level zone. God help me. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things, right? What the hell
Right.
happened here,
Yeah.
And so,
And you can always,
it's like,
yeah. I was going to say,
yeah.
you can roll. By the way, the DM can roll a reaction roll.
Yeah.
If the giants discover you, what does that mean? Does that mean
Yeah.
they're going to automatically eat you? Are they, is there some scenario where they need your help somehow?
I don't believe in reaction rolls. I'm weird like that. I mean, I don't like random encounters. I don't like, certain things. I'm not old school at all in certain ways. I don't believe in reaction rolls, because if you've developed these giants and they're there for a reason, what is their reason? They have a purpose, they have a goal, they have an agenda, whatever it is, that will determine how they react to you. There's no need to have a reaction roll if you know the mob, in video game terms. If you know whatever the hell you're fighting here, if you know what they're all about and what their goal is, their reaction probably most likely will be determined by that. That's
Sure.
why I don't do reaction rolls. As long as you know your shit, you don't need them. But sometimes it's fun to do a random check, just for the fuck of it, right? But for the most part,
I would counter with that right now, Joe, but I want to stay focused on her because we go into reaction roll kind of things.
Okay.
But maybe that's a different
topic for another video. Right.
Surprise reaction rolls and counter. Yeah.
And the one thing I do like about having like high level encounters, maybe for a low or mid level thing, then the characters can't just go on, just like you said, full frontal attack. They have to become clever with tactics. They have to use maybe some ingenuity or some tactics, strategy, whatever, to maybe get an advantage. So it gets them out of their comfort zone, because they know if they don't do this right, there's a possibility things are going to end badly for one or many of them. And I think that lets them explore their characters and even their equipment. Like, you're big on to having the right equipment at the right time, Joe, with your games.
That's all I got. I don't have the hit points, the attacking ability, no spells. That's all I got.
Well, I mean, even in your game, like your actual game itself, because it was very important to have the right equipment for different stuff. And, but if you do that also with these kind of things, you have to be I'm going to say you have to have an advanced DMing skill, because the one things I always argued about for adventure writing, they never put like skill level of the DM on there. They always put like 1st through 3rd level and for the characters, but how experienced does the DM need to really run this?
Really good point, dude. I've never really thought about that. That's a damn good point.
I used to put on there, I just use like a 3-level system. You know, a beginning DM could run this real fast.
Yeah.
Somebody with a little bit of experience would probably find this one. And then this one's got so many complexities to it or intricacies. To run it well, you're going to need to have a little bit of background in it and run it correctly. And that way, like a GM can really use these varied because they can make a low level, you know, just for an example, you can be a 5th level characters, but I can make I can make 1-hit dice creatures wish you were never born, just because of the tactics they use, because of the different things, because of their ingenuity and their forethought and the equipment they have for the purpose. Because it's what's good for the monsters or players is good for the monsters too. You know, they're going to use the same kind of stuff, but you want to be more on the advanced level to be able to do that. To do that. But if you're beginning level, just use the CRs or whatever to help you out and guide it. Because like I've always said with anything, you got to know the rules before you can start breaking them.
That makes sense.
You know,
that makes sense. That makes
you know,
sense.
and then it'll make a better game for you. And then you can really have a lot of fun with it. And like when you start writing your own adventures, you can really then the doors open up so much wider. You know, you when you're first starting, you kind of got a tunnel of what kind of challenge level, but as soon as you get that experience and how to manipulate things or kind of use things, then Katie bar to the door, you got it's wide open to you.
You know, another thing too, in terms of a balance or an old school approach to balancing is knowledge. And in particular, like if you look at like an encounter based on here's my ability to fight something or not. If you look at an encounter of here's my ability to use whatever skill system against it or not, here's my ability to use whatever ingenuity within the situation or not. Those are different ways to sort of, you know, up the odds for your side, right? There's those 3 things. But a lot of old school games have like go back to a sage in the city and get some knowledge about that thing. In other words, don't dive right the hell in. Go to the druid and talk. Hey, what's in this woods? What's going on? Have you ever heard of this thing I just ran across? Holy crap, what was it? Oh, yes, blah, 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 the old legends and yada, yada. And it is said that if you have the black sword, you can, you know, whatever, right? And then you'll find the black sword. So knowledge is a great thing in that regard as a player tool for bringing back some more balance, I guess you could say, up, you know, leveling the scales of justice on their side, the scales of balance, right? You know, play it like that. Yeah. So I really
knowledge is important for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we're all kind of leaning on the side of if you're writing adventures, don't worry about the balance so much. But I think let the players know this is not a typical 5e balanced encounter where you have the right to win everything.
I wouldn't say that as a blanket statement. I said if you were beginning, stay within the challenge levels. If you're a new DM and you're writing your first adventures, or if you're running stay within the challenge levels, because it'll be a little bit easier for the DM and it'll be kind of easier for them to run. Because if they mess up a little bit, if you mess up and you don't have it, you're going to just annihilate the party real easy. But if it's more balanced, you got a little bit more leeway, you know, to play around with then.
Yeah, don't if you're a DM too, I would say, look, don't give your players hooks or rumors that would lead them to higher places that they shouldn't go. Give them the rumors for those level, what you would call level appropriate, or at least, you know, semi-dangerous or whatever it is, to say, look, if you give them like, hey, there's you know, I hear there's a large pile of gold over here. But you don't tell them that it's guarded by a dragon, you know, that, you know, you got to give them, the problem is too, for the DM, if you give them a hook or give them something, and then you're, once again, unintended consequences that they go pursue that. They'll go, no, I didn't mean for you to do that. Well, don't give players any information that would lead them to a place where you have to balance a thing.
So I don't mind that, because I figured they could run away if they don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the difference between running a campaign and running an adventure, I think. Because in a campaign, I would do that. I would set it up, because that in life, it makes your world, but I would also give them clues too. It's like, oh yeah, you know, there's so-and-so's found like these ancient gold coins that haven't been seen forever, and everybody's been going back up there, but everybody's gone back up there hasn't come back. And if the players say, well, I'm not worried about it, I can go up there. And as they go up the maybe the mountainside, they see like just dozens and dozens of scorched corpses along the mountainside. It's like, there's your welcome. What do you want to do, boys?
And by the way, that's just another Tuesday in Tim's Colmore Forest game. So I mean, you're just getting a little sense of it here.
It just depends on which corpses you want to walk over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yours is going to be one sooner or later.
Yes. You'll be fertilizing the forest soon enough. There's a reason why it's so big. Yeah.
Right.
But
just like Eleanor. She's helping some plants somewhere to grow right now.
But yeah, so I guess there is that distinction between campaign adventuring, and then there is just like the one-shot adventuring.
One shot. And like write publication or something like that. Yeah.
Because in that case, what Paul said, I would say you could do it, but just make sure you lean into letting them know, bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And what's okay though, is if they do get a TPK and they go up there, then you just make sure you write in their next, they're there when you start up the new party and everything. They're already going to have they come back, they're going to find their bodies. You maybe get killed. Equipment. So in a way, they've already made a mark on your campaign.
There was that guy 15 years ago. There was a video, I forget, the Dead Gentlemen's whatever group. They did a video with a bunch of adventurers running through an adventure, and they alternate between the game room and the adventurers. The players dressed up as the people, and it was kind of a funny thing. And one guy played a bard, and he kept fucking dying. He wrote up 50 identical bard character sheets. And as soon as one bard died, he pulled the next one out and he's writing a scene because he knew it was a bard. He's going to fucking die, right? So he's bard after bard after bard. I think at the end of it, he's like, I hide behind the pile of bard bodies.
Yeah. Well, my kids, my son, who I taught how to play, I think we were playing Pathfinder First Edition or something. I taught him how to play, and him and his friends, well, they got TPK'd because for reasons, and they came back and they played different characters and they entered the same place where they got. And I said, yeah, you see these 4 heads on sticks.
Yeah.
That reminded them, by the way, this is a super dangerous place you're in. Because I
love that. It grounds this fantastic world into something that they can relate to. And it's a cool moment when you kind of can get those things going there. So, yeah.
All right, cool. We're 27 minutes. We're keeping good time on this one, guys.
Keeping good time. I think so.
Bad. Anything else you wanted to yak about balance about? I think we balanced.
You know what we need to do? We need to do. This is a collaboration. Please join all of our channels.
Yeah.
We got Paul at Flint Fireforge. We got Joe at what is it? Analog Man Cave, right?
At Joe the Lawyer. That's the name of that's the kind of name of the channel. But just do at Joe the Lawyer on YouTube and you'll get me. But if you click,
but there's another Joe the Lawyer, isn't there on there too?
Yeah, he's actually a lawyer. Weirdo.
You're Joe the attorney, aren't you?
I'm Joe the Lawyer on YouTube.
Okay, on YouTube. All right.
Yeah. But if you click that subscribe button, guys, you'll be able to subscribe to each of our channels by
each one of us. Yeah.
Right.
And then please, if you have some experience with this stuff, leave comments.
Yeah.
I love answering comments. And that's one thing we got to start doing, guys. We forgot about answering, if they have some comments, we add them into our show a little bit, maybe from past ones to kind of integrate them in there. So if you leave a comment and it doesn't have to do with, masturbating chronically, we'll add it. I think it was on mine or yours. Somebody said that about it's one of them. Wasn't me, Paul. It wasn't me. It was one of the comments.
I don't know what that was about,
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that was about either, but So comment and we'll work you into the show and everything. We'd appreciate that. And then plus it helps
we can have a Q&A. Maybe at the beginning of every show we'll have a Q&A session. I try to address most comments, in the videos in the comment section, but some of them they do deserve. They're good long comments that people do write and they deserve like a good long answer. And they're good.
Yeah, maybe we can collect them. Maybe we collect a couple shows up and then we can do them, kind of deal. Maybe just have a show for that.
Yeah. That'd be fun, actually. Go through some of the comments. So, you have any, and also suggestions for videos, guys. If you have any ideas about what you want us to talk about, throw it in the comments too. We're looking for, anything that you'd be interested in. We'll definitely do. All right. So, Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. I think we're good. We're another good one. Half
Yeah,
hour
we are.
in. Not bad. Not bad. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Click like, subscribe, comment, throw out questions. We'll read your question maybe on air if it's cool. If it's not cool, not so much. But yeah. If it's cool, then we'll read it. All right.
Yeah.
What
Joe
the
might
hell?
say you must be riding the short bus on one.
That's
Well,
right.
you know.
If we don't like
Yeah.
it, we'll just read it for clicks. You
That's
know,
true.
There
We'll
you
mock
go.
you.
Yeah.
We'll mock you
Well,
mercilessly
we
if we don't
may,
like your comments. So yeah, so that too. And throw out some ideas, guys. All right. Take it easy.
Good night,
you
everybody.
guys.